Hello, class. This is learning day 3. We are done with classical conditioning and we're going to move on to something that is probably even more interesting and more relevant to our day-to-day lives. Now, I need you to write this down, okay? Write this down. This is important. What is operant conditioning, okay? Now, if you don't like to hear me talk while you're writing, I understand. Just hit pause and write it down, but I'm going to talk. All right, let me ask you this. What is the best way to get a dog to pee on the grass? Okay, so would you use classical conditioning? Like, would you I'll be honest with you, if I catch a dog in the act peeing on the carpet, in the act, if I can time it right, I might scare it, go, no, just like really scare the crap out of the dog. Does it work? I don't think so. I mean, it might a little bit, but generally, if you get the timing right, you might can scare the dog enough to pee behind the couch. And also if the timing isn't right, then it becomes punishment rather than classical conditioning. But the best way to potty train a dog is to not let it pee on the carpet. Put it in a crate or locked up somewhere, take it outside into the grass, let it pee in the grass, and then what do? Good boy! Yeah, you're a good boy! And you do that. You could also give the dog a treat. That works. That is the best way to train a dog to pee on the grass. So you can give it compliments, you can say good boy, you can give it treats, okay? That is called operant conditioning. Operant conditioning is the use of reinforcements. A reinforcement can be a compliment, it can be money, it could be physical affection, it can also be a punishment. Reinforcements are anything that's good that is given to increase behavior. Punishments are bad things that make you want to stop doing the behavior. Okay? So it could be something like a slap in the face. Okay? It could be a dirty look. Or it could just be anything unpleasant. Okay, we'll talk more about this, but so as you can see, this is a little different than classical conditioning. Classical conditioning is about getting an association between two things. Like I might associate nausea with my chemotherapy, so it makes me not want to go get chemotherapy. Operant conditioning is about, am I getting rewards? Am I getting punishments? So I'm a teacher, and if I tell a young student, hey, your hair looks really nice today. Now, if the student takes the compliment, then the student might wear their hair like that more often. That's a reward. That's a reinforcement. However, if my student says, oh my God, that creepy psychology teacher just told me my hair looks good, I'm totally not wearing it like this anymore, then I just punished you. I punished you. That means that the behavior is less. Okay? That's operant conditioning. Now, let's just a little bit of history, and I don't like to make a big deal out of history. Thorndike. So Edward Thorndike, write this down. Edward Thorndike, long time ago, back in the 40s, what he did was he locked a cat up into this puzzle box. And it was a very complicated puzzle box. And he found that if you put some cat food outside the box, the cat would be more likely to figure out how to get out of the box quicker. That's it. And he called this the law of effect. He said that rewarded behavior is likely to recur. That's it. I'm not going to make a big deal out of Thorndike. I just wanted to expose you to that. Write that down, move on, okay? The most important name in operant conditioning is B.F. Skinner. Now, this guy was like as famous as Freud in some ways. He was on the cover of Time. He was the guy of the 1940s and the 50s, okay? And look at that forehead. I have never seen a forehead so big in my entire life. But he was the king of psychology of the 1940s and 50s. And to some extent, no, mostly the 40s and the 50s. And this was his philosophy. Now compare this to Sigmund Freud. I do not deny the existence of internal mental events. However, I don't feel these can be studied scientifically. Moreover, there really is no need to study them. So what he's saying is that Freud was on to something, but as a scientist, we cannot study the unconscious mind. As a scientist, we can't point to the id or the ego or the superego, and we can't prove that we repress memories. So therefore, we should only study what can be studied in a laboratory. Skinner was a scientist, unlike Freud. Freud was not a scientist. Freud was like on cocaine, and it's almost like he just made stuff up. That doesn't mean that he was wrong. It just means that Skinner kind of made stuff up. Skinner did not make stuff up. He studied things in a laboratory. And what he would do, and this is better illustrated in a video, and I'm going to show you these videos, they're nicknamed Skinner boxes. Now what he would do is he would put these pigeons in a box, and if the pigeon did an action that the researcher wanted, then a food tray the pigeon would be fed food. So what you would do is you'd let the pigeon go hungry, and then that way you can use food as a reinforcement. You see what I did there? Reinforcement. The food can be used as a treat or a reward for doing something like walking in circles. Ding, you get some food. Okay? Or peck on the green disc. The pigeon does that, boom, it gets food. You could train a pigeon to do all kinds of things. Birds are actually very smart. And this was actually Skinner's daughter. And interesting story, some people are like, that's cruel, but his daughter turned out just fine. His daughter turned out just fine. Okay? And so think about this. How are these similar? Okay? So pigeon gets rewarded with food. You go to a slot machine and you get rewarded with money or the anticipation of money. It's kind of the same thing, really, if you think about it. Okay? Now, of course, I'm going to give you videos to watch, and you definitely want to watch them. Okay. Now, write this down. What is shaping? Shaping is when you have something complicated that you want to train a dog to do. And so what you do is you can't train the complicated behavior at once. So let's say you want to train a dog to open a garbage can. You can't just wait till the dog does it and then give it a treat. You have to gradually reward that behavior. So the dog walks near the garbage can. Ding, you get a treat. A dog walks closer to the garbage can. Ding, you get another treat. The dog bows near the garbage can. You get a treat. The dog waves his hand at the handle. You give him a treat. But then after a while, you withhold the treats and wait for the dog to do closer to what you want him to do. Then you want the dog to touch the handle. You give him a treat. And finally, you only give the dog a treat when the dog opens the garbage can. That is called shaping. Okay? So imagine this. You got a pigeon and you want to train the pigeon to walk in a full circle. So the pigeon just starts walking around randomly, and as soon as the pigeon turns 30 degrees, you get a treat. Pigeon does it again, gets a treat. However, now 30 degrees isn't good enough. Now you wait for the pigeon to turn 90 degrees. Then you get a treat. And then 180 degrees. Then you get a treat. And then eventually you get a pigeon walking full circles all day long. That's called shaping. That's called shaping. Imagine if you have some autistic kid who won't speak, and then you give him a piece of chocolate every time he makes a little sound with his lips. But then after a while, that's not good enough. Then you only give the kid a treat if he says like a consonant, like puh, okay? And then after a while, you wait for the kid to actually say a word, dog, then you get a treat. And then after a while, you withhold that reward, and then you only give the reward if the kid says a full word or a full sentence. That is a real method of getting kids to do what they're supposed to do, like talk. Okay? So this is called shaping. And there's a couple of videos I have for you on this. All right, you might want to hit pause and go watch some videos, because the videos do a really good job of showing you this. So if you want to hit pause and then you can come back to this assignment, that's a good idea. All right, so which of the following is an example of shaping? Now remember, shaping is when you reward gradually, okay? Then you withhold the rewards until something more full is given. So the best answer here is C. So the parrot is rewarded first for making any sound, and then for making a sound similar to Laura, and then only then for speaking Laura. That's called shaping. The first time 4-year-old Kimberly tried to make her bed, her father praised her for covering the pillow with the blanket. After a few tries, the father praised her for covering the pillow and tucking in the corners with the sheet. Finally, her father praised her when she covered the pillow, tucked in the corners of the sheet, and smoothed the blanket. This is called shaping. And finally, Nicholas has autistic disorder and was mute. A therapist working with Nicholas initially gave him a piece of chocolate anytime he made a sound with his lips. This slowly changed until Nicholas only received a piece of chocolate for saying complete words, and eventually only for saying complete sentences. This is called shaping. So the point of shaping is that you withhold the reward until a more complete action is taken. Okay, this is just a joke. All right. So let's talk about positive reinforcement and negative reinforcement. Hit pause and write this down. Example, that's up to you. You may want to write down an example. Positive reinforcement is when you are, and by the way, both reinforcements are when you want to increase a behavior. That's what reinforcement is about. It's about increasing a behavior. Positive, so what would be an example of positive reinforcement? It could be a compliment, it could be candy, it could be money, it could be physical affection. I mean, imagine if I'm washing dishes and my wife comes up behind me and says, oh, you look so good washing dishes. Oh, yeah. All right, then I'm going to be washing some dishes. Okay? Or it could be a compliment. Your sweater looks really nice. Good. Or how about this? I throw candy at you in class for getting an answer right. Or I give you money. Negative reinforcement. Nobody ever gets this right, maybe once in 10 years. A negative reinforcement is when you take away something bad, take away something unpleasant to increase a behavior. Okay, now a lot of you are thinking, take away the phone. No, we're trying to take away something unpleasant. So here's the deal. Negative reinforcement would be like Nagging. I'm going to nag you. Where's your ID? Where's your ID badge? Where's your ID badge? Okay, I'll put my ID badge on. Or you want Spotify Premium? You want Spotify Premium? You want Spotify Premium? Oh my God, I'll pay $10. Just stop giving me these ads. Oh my God. Nagging and torture are good examples of negative reinforcement. If you want to write that down, do it. Nagging and torture. Torture is like this. If you have the combination to a safe that I want, I stick toothpicks up your fingernails and say, give me the combination. Give me the combination, okay? Or imagine you get in the car and you don't put your seatbelt on. You start the car, your seatbelt isn't on. What happens? Ding, ding, ding. Oh my God, okay, I'll put my seatbelt on. Negative means to take away. Reinforcement means you increase the behavior. All right, write this down. So these are punishments. Pause if you need to, but I'm going to talk. Punishment is when you reduce a behavior. Positive punishment, positive doesn't mean good. Positive means you are adding to the environment to reduce a behavior. So if you say something extremely disrespectful to your mother, she might slap you in the face. That's positive punishment. Think of the chancla for positive punishment. You are adding something unpleasant to reduce a behavior. The chancla, okay, or the belt. Or it could be just a dirty look. Guys, you're having dinner with your girlfriend's parents and your girlfriend like gives you a dirty look because you said the word penis at the dinner table. You know, that's a dirty look. That's a positive punishment. Don't say penis at the dinner table. These are my parents. Okay? So positive means you are adding to the environment. You're getting yelled at. Now, getting yelled at could be negative reinforcement or positive punishment. Let's say you crash the car, okay, and your parents yell at you. That would be positive punishment because yelling doesn't fix the car, but you're getting punished for crashing the car. Now, if yelling is negative reinforcement, your parents come in, I told you to clean this room. Why can't you clean this room? And then you get up and you start cleaning your room. That's negative reinforcement. That's like nagging. But positive punishment is when it's already done and your parents just want to yell at you. That's positive punishment. Okay? Negative punishment is when you take away something good to reduce a behavior. Grounding you from your cell phone. Taking away the Wi-Fi. Time out. Negative punishment. So I used to say to my class, you can't use negative punishment on a dog. Yeah, you can. My dog won't give my wife a kiss because she's like, kiss me, give me a kiss. And my dog won't do it. So we say, get off the couch, get. So if you're not going to give me a kiss, then you can't be on the couch because our dog is stubborn. Okay? All right. So you need to know positive reinforcement, negative reinforcement, positive punishment, negative punishment. Okay? All right. Hit pause if you want to look at this. All right, so think about Pandora. You thumb it up, that's reinforcement. You thumb it down, that's punishment. All right, so I'm going to give you some scenarios. I want you to think, is this positive punishment, positive reinforcement, or negative reinforcement? This won't be easy because it's, I don't know, it might be, I don't know, but let's see what you got. Spanking a child for writing crip on your car door. Okay? So you're adding something unpleasant and you want the behavior to stop. Okay? So that would be positive punishment. Giving candy for correct answers. So are you adding or are you taking away? You're adding to the environment, so it's positive. Do you want the behavior to happen more often? Yes, so that's positive reinforcement. Nagging and nagging until you do the dishes. So what you're saying is, I will nag you until the behavior of doing dishes increases. So that's negative reinforcement. I will take away the nagging if you increase the behavior of doing your chores. So what is the cat doing to the child? So the cat is adding to the environment, and the cat is punishing the child, so it's positive punishment. All right, remember Xbox 360 updates? It's like, do you want to update? You want to update? You want to update? I'm like, oh my God, I just want to play my game. Fine, I'll update. Just don't ask me again. So this is nagging. So nagging is, I will take away the nagging if you increase the behavior of updating. That's negative reinforcement. Negative reinforcement. All right. Slow down here. So you take your kid to Walmart. Daddy, I want some candy. Daddy, what? Give me some candy. Daddy, what? Can I have some candy? Look, if I give you some candy, will you shut up? Yes. So the child is blanking the parent for getting him candy. But the parent is blanking the child for whining. So in this case, the child is negatively reinforcing the parent for getting him candy. The child is nagging the parent. The parent is giving him candy, so the parent is positively reinforcing the child for whining. Okay? Taking away cell phone privileges to reduce low grades. So you're taking away, so that's negative. You're reducing a behavior, that's punishment, negative punishment. Stop jamming toothpicks up one's fingernails in exchange for information. You got the combination to the safe? You better give it to me. Come on, I'll take away the pain. You give me the combination. Okay? That's negative reinforcement. All right, your assignment is to draw a cartoon for each of these four. Okay? Make your own example of these four and turn that in. Okay? All right. By the way, waterboarding is torture. They would shove water, they would take like terrorist suspects and shove water up their nose. And it's like, where's bin Laden? Where's Osama bin Laden, you know? And they would simulate drowning. Like, give me some information. That's what waterboarding is. All right, so let's do some multiple choice. Positive reinforcement involves what? So like giving candy for, so the answer is A. Children who are consistently praised for receiving high grades in school will likely continue to work for high grades. Using an operant conditioning explanation of this phenomenon, which of the following is true? I might not have explained this well enough, but the answer is A. The praise functions as a positive reinforcer. A reinforcer can be candy or chocolate or compliments. Okay? Your teenage daughter has not cleaned her room in a month. You go in and begin yelling at her to clean her room. She begins to clean up and you stop yelling. Nagging is negative reinforcement. To stop his uncle's constant request, Jimmy takes out the garbage. This makes him more likely to take out the garbage in the future. Jimmy's behavior is being controlled by which of the following types of reinforcement? All right, so it's nagging, so the answer is negative reinforcement. 4-year-old child frequently pulled on the dog's tail to gain attention. To reduce this undesirable behavior, the parent took away 1 hour of television viewing every time the child pulled the dog's tail. Within 1 week, the undesirable behavior was significantly reduced. The behavior was reduced. All right, so you're taking away TV, so it's negative. The behavior is reduced, that's punishment. Kara, your teenage daughter, was ridiculed at school for wearing a particular style of shirt. Now she no longer wears that style of shirt at school. Being ridiculed is an example of, this actually happened to me. I wore some pants that were too tight on me and kids made fun of me for it. And I went home and I threw it away. I was teaching. That was just like 10 years ago. But yeah, that's punishment. Positive punishment, actually. Positive punishment. Cassie asked her father for a candy bar at the grocery store, and her father bought her the candy bar. If she asked for more candy bars in the future, the candy bar has acted as a reinforcer. Sorry if I didn't explain that well enough. In order for a reinforcer to be most effective, it should be what? The answer is C. You know, if the dog pees on the grass and then a minute later you say, "Good boy," the dog's going to be like, "What?" Same thing for you. If I said, passing the AP psychology exam will save you money and time, and you're thinking, well, that's years from now. It's really hard to use that as a motivator. Can all animals be taught anything? No, there's something called instinctive drift. I've never seen this on the exam, but it turns out that you can't, there are some things you just cannot train an animal to do. For example, pigs will deposit coins in a piggy bank, but will push the coins through the mud and flip it around on its way because that's an instinctual behavior. You can train a raccoon to deposit coins in a bank, but they're going to wash it in a stream first. Okay, that's just instinctual behavior. Animals do have an instinctual drift. Okay. All right, that's enough for today. Thank you very much.